What's up, everybody? Good evening. Hope everybody is having as good a day as I am. And Zod, thanks for joining me tonight. Just gonna be me and you, but I think it'll go. Pretty well. And I want to thank you personally for you're the reason this stream happened. I mean, every once in a while, something comes along that is big enough to where I feel like it needs to be talked about right away. And for me, this is big enough news that it needs to be discussed right away. And I don't know about you.
Like I said to you before, I mean, if this isn't big enough, then what is? I mean,
what is right? I was kind of joking when I said it, and I'm like, you know what? Like, you have a point there. Like, and I'm sure the cat's out of the bag now. And if it wasn't, if it wasn't for you, surely I would have eventually found out about it. I don't live under a rock or anything, but we have this is about as official as it gets, right? Spaceballs 2 is finally after 38 years going to finally be released.
I mean, Mel Brooks put the information out there himself.
Right. It doesn't get any more.
He literally got on video. It talks about it himself.
So, right. From the man himself. This isn't no, internet rumors or anything like that. This is Mel Brooks in the flesh. And I tell you what, man, he looks pretty good. Pretty spry for a 98-year-old.
When you said, is he going to be around in 2027? I'm thinking, well, of course he is. I mean, he's going to live long enough for this movie to come out.
He has to. And I was doing a little bit of research on the original Spaceballs and trying to see who may not be in it. And there's only two that, well, I mean, we talked about Spaceballs a few months ago when we came back, but like Dom DeLuise's Pizza the Hut, he won't be reprising that role, but will Pizza the Hut be in it? Even though he's dead, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, at this point, bring them all back, right? And of course, John Candy obviously can't be in it, or Joan Rivers.
That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking maybe they might use, if they could get permission from the estate, they might use, AI to include those characters again. Because I'm in a very unique position to speak about all of this,
sure,
considering the movie that I'm making.
Right, and how many AI voices you've done in the past?
But they're not. But they're actual, authentic voices of friends and family members who I have in the cast of my One Punch Dan movie.
Oh, okay.
Who are literally, who allowed me to use their likeness and their voices to be able to put them in the movie, and their voices are coming out incredible. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see any of the trailers and things that I've put out, but
I've watched them all.
The reality is that the voice fidelity of these characters is amazing. And with a Hollywood budget and with some actual money, what they could do now is if they got permission from the estate and they were able to do it, you could actually have Barf and you could have Joan Rivers in the movie, and it could work because if the writing is good and the writing is on par with the original Spaceballs,
you'd have to think that it would be.
Voices and dialogue are not going to be a problem. I can say this right now. AI voices have come a long way since the beginning of Nostalgia Power, when I was making those little, those were pretty good then. I mean, they were pretty good then. And now it's just gotten to the point where I'm using a software where you're actually allowed to go in and you can actually direct the voice, like the AI voice, you can actually direct it how you want the lines delivered. So if you want the actor to be anxious, or you want the actor to be happy, or you want the actor to be sexy, or you want the actor to be scared, or you want the actor to be, any emotion you can think of, you can convey that. It's incredible.
What about John Candy though? Like how crazy would it be to see? I mean, to see John Candy. You know what I mean? I mean, they kind of did it with Harold Ramis in the Ghostbusters, but that was kind of different, because he was a ghost.
I kind of feel like they're going to pull something like that in this movie. That Barf is going to have gone on to the big kennel in the sky,
I would
and
think so.
and they're going to do some kind of, if they do use AI, there's going to be like it's going to be some sort of, they're going to use a body double. I'm going to tell you this right now, Julio. They're going to use a body double. Okay, it'll be like a body double for John Candy, and they'll use CGI and AI to make it come to life, and it'll be a small but poignant cameo in the
Yeah,
movie for
like
Lone
Harold
for Lone
Ramis
Star.
or
It'll be
yeah,
like Lone Star's having a dream or something, and it'll
yep,
be like he'll Barf will be coming down, and it'll be like, you must go back to planet Druidia. You must do this. You must do that. Like it'll be some kind of pivotal moment in the movie
no
where it
way.
makes where it makes where it makes sense for it to actually work. And
What about like Barf having a litter of puppies? What if there was like 12 or like 20 little Barfs running around or something like that?
they could do something like that too. They could do something like that, or they could say, oh well, Barf is off planet, or Barf is doing something else, or they don't have to necessarily have Barf be dead. They could have
Yeah,
them, they could have the character alive in the Spaceballs universe still.
yeah. I
But
feel like just because everybody obviously knows of John Candy and that's his role, I feel like they'll probably play it off like that, like he's passed on, and that's fine. I mean, but it's cool so far that I've seen that there are a lot of the original actors are coming back, the ones that are
oh
still
oh
alive,
oh oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And
including the big one, the one that I think is probably
it's been
is
confirmed all over the place today.
yes,
So
this is bigger than the movie itself being announced. That freaking Rick Moranis, of after all these years, is finally coming back, and I mean, we saw him in some commercials and things like that, but
see,
he's actually coming back in
see,
an acting role.
he needed a role. See, what happened is Kev Gret needed a role that was going to allow him, that was going to give him a reason to get away from Rexer, come out of retirement, and do an actual
Don the
and,
helmet and the cape.
and don the helmet and the cape. And this is what's happening. This is what
Yep.
it took. They said, look, we see what you're doing. You're messing around in that home arcade community, hanging out with Rexer, aka Steve Gutenberg. And basically what's happening is, we're kind of tired of that. We want to see you come onto the big screen again. We want to, and only Mel Brooks could make that happen. And
Yeah, I
now
mean, movies are back.
happening. Tell me right now in that picture that he does not look like Kev Gret. Just tell me he doesn't look like an older Kev Gret,
100%.
and I won't make that
Yeah.
joke ever again. No offense to Kev Gret and Reg.
No, I mean, it's Rick Moranis.
Because I love
character.
those guys, but I think
Classic
that I just think that it's so funny to me, like to get him to come out of retirement for
They couldn't have done it without him.
is huge.
Yeah, they
that
could not have done it.
Just goes to show you the Dark Helmet is going to have a significant plot line in this movie.
Yeah.
If they're going through all the trouble to
Yep.
get the original actor to come back when he literally has all but retired from acting.
Yeah,
I mean, that's monumental.
right. And when you told me that it was coming back, when you showed me that clip, and here, I'll pull it up right here. Actually, the same exact one that you showed me was on Twitter.
Mel Brooks's official tweet on X.
Yes,
Yes.
and I'll mute this because the music will get me in
Just
trouble.
till you get to Mel Brooks talking.
Yeah, but yeah, my first question was like, okay, I'm super excited for this, but if they do it without Rick Moranis, it will almost ruin the movie. And when I found out that, yeah, when you said that, because immediately I started looking for it, and I'm like, holy crap! Like I didn't expect it. I really did not. I did not think he was going to come back. I thought he was done forever. But I mean, what do you think? Like, there's no way that this would have felt right without Rick Moranis and Dark Helmet in this, at least in some shape or form. But I agree with you 100%. Or
Well,
if
that might have
this,
been one of that
they
might
got
have been
back.
one of the things that Mike, that might have been one of the things initially holding the movie up, to tell you the truth.
Maybe
Because I
you
feel
could be
like
right.
maybe this is a movie that they did want to do.
Well, like
quite a
Serge
few
said,
times.
maybe this should have been done 30 years ago. Maybe they wanted to, yeah. But gave Rick.
I'm honestly surprised, truthfully, that we didn't get a Spaceballs 2 sometime within 5 to 10 years of the original. It kind of surprises me that it's taken this long to finally happen.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I don't care. At least we're seeing it in our lifetime.
Me too.
And see, unlike Star Wars, okay, who's pretty much had a lot of highs and a lot of lows.
Yes.
This is. I don't think this is going to let us down. I think this is.
Because
we've got Mel Brooks in charge.
You got the man.
You don't have somebody else in charge. We've got the guy that came up with it. So,
and if you know anything about Mel Brooks, his style of comedy, whether he's 400 years old, it doesn't matter. He's still the same guy.
Right. He's the type of guy that would download his consciousness onto a hard drive and be like, yeah, let me live for the next 10,000 years.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is a guy that I like I was telling you, I have a feeling that President Scroob is going to be like in cryo freeze, like Walt Disney, and they're going to thaw him out for like one or two scenes in the movie. Yeah.
Well, when we last saw them, they landed on the Planet of the Apes. So is it going to be like a Book of Boba Fett thing where we see them escaping from the Planet of the Apes, or is it going to be okay, we're 30 40 years?
Remember this is like 40 years, so it has the luxury of so much time having passed that they can start it from anywhere.
So are they going to spoof and rip off and make fun of the new Star Wars movies, do like an Emperor Palpatine clone kind of thing, rebuild the whole empire? I'm very curious to see what they do.
Maybe that's what they'll do with Dark Helmet.
Maybe
it'll be like, somehow Dark Helmet has returned. Like, they'll do some kind of something goofy, but it'll be funny and it'll make sense.
Yes, I mean, they got to goof on the new Star Wars movies and how much of a mess that they were.
Yeah,
but and the way Mel Brooks does it, though, like he doesn't really take shots to be mean or anything like that. Like his jokes are tasteful. I mean, he got George Lucas's blessing to do Spaceballs originally, so I wonder how, if he had to jump through any hoops like that this time around, or if it just so long gone it doesn't even matter.
I don't know.
Well, let's hear what Mel Brooks had to say for those who haven't heard it.
We asked, what do the fans want? But instead, we're making this movie.
40 years. Look at that. The Schwartz Awakens.
May the Schwartz be with you.
I mean, he's got a lot of energy for a guy who's 98 years old.
Yeah, he does. And it's going to be in theaters, which is amazing. 2027. So is that what it is?
You know why it's 2027? Because the original came out in 1987.
So 40 years.
40 years exactly.
Yep. Hey, Brooklyn. So yeah, is it going to? What's the title? Everybody always speculated. What, the search for more money or whatever.
If they keep it in continuity with the original, if they decide to keep it in continuity, we already know it'll be the search for more money, because that's what they always
that was always
the sequel. And if they decide to go that route, I will be elated, because I think that's wonderful that they decided to stick with that title in spite of it being a 40-year gap between films. But if they decide to go with a different title, like The Schwartz Awakens,
I mean, it kind of has a ring to it.
I think that'll be good too, because that will be like a jab at the commercialism and the consumerism that's occurred over the last 40 years and how everything has just gone to shit. Yep. And so that to me will be will be just as good, because again, it's another dig. But to me, if they stick with the search for more money, I think that'll be wonderful too. So either
I'm
way,
okay with either.
I don't think they can go wrong. I really
No, I
don't.
really don't. No, the Schwartz Awakens, it kind of rolls off your tongue. It feels natural, and it's that little dig at Star Wars, and like everything you just said, how everything kind of went to shit over the last 40 or so years. But if they keep it in continuity, I'd be okay with that too.
Right. And yeah, I mean, and like I said, now they have the technology to appropriately include the actors who have passed on. They can do it now if they want to, and if they do it tastefully and appropriately. So at the end of the day, I have really high hopes for this movie, because and the reason I'm so excited is because I don't think it's something that can let us down.
No, I don't either. And the fact that they're bringing so many of the originals back, and there's not a whole lot of information out there surrounding this movie just yet. Like, the plot is being tightly kept under wraps, and even like a lot of the cast. Like, there was I'll share the screen again. The one girl that was there with Bill Pullman and Rick Moranis, Keke Palmer, I'm assuming that's who that is. So they're bringing in obviously some younger people into this.
Of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But obviously, Bill Pullman back in it, Rick Moranis back in it, Mel Brooks. That he is going to play. At least it said yogurt. That much is known for sure. I mean, you'd have to think obviously he's going to play Scroob, but I think you might be on to something there with the whole being like cryogenically frozen or something, or like something along those lines. That
it's like Scroob will be cryogenically frozen, and then he'll get out of cryogenic freeze, and he'll go on his search for Lord Helmet. He'll be trying to find Lord Helmet so that he can, so that they can get the band back together, so to speak. It's going to be, I think it's going to be wonderful. And because I can think of like five gazillion plots for Spaceballs 2 that I think would be awesome, just off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
I can just imagine what Mel Brooks has come up with over 40 years.
Oh my God, yeah. You'd have to think he had Spaceballs 2 wrote out multiple times over the years. Like, okay, we're finally going to do it, and then it just never happened. I'm wondering if, like, how much of a factor Rick Moranis kind of going away for a long time had to do with, because it was like the early 90s. He was done.
Yeah, I think when he retired, I think that was the whole, that put the nail in the coffin for Spaceballs 2 for a while, because it was just kind of like, well, I mean, Helmet is kind of the,
that's synonymous with Spaceballs, right?
Is kind of the character you need. So you're gonna, and it doesn't. And he doesn't strike me. Brooks doesn't strike me as a guy that really wanted to recast any of those characters.
No, and it's such a cult classic movie at this point where I don't think you could have. If you'd have brought somebody else in, I mean, maybe you could have had a new villain. It wouldn't have felt right. I mean, you definitely couldn't have put anybody else under the Dark Helmet mask. Not have, because how iconic was that back in the original? You have this Darth Vader ripoff, and then he lifts his mask up, and then you have little Rick Moranis, in his glasses. It's like the least intimidating person in the history of the world underneath the mask. So that's super awesome. He's coming back.
Yeah, it's super awesome. And the idea that you could come back, you can come back to it after 40 years. If this is done right, this has potential to be just as big of a classic as the original. And I don't say that lightly either. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that in the sense that you have to think that the idea of the whole of it being a spoof and being a big rip on Star Wars and being a big rip on, you could just imagine what this movie is going to say about the state of Hollywood movies now in a way that's going to really, I hope he goes all out, and I hope he really pokes the bear this time.
The material is endless for him, it almost could write itself. In Mel Brooks, and like I said, at 98 years old, he still seems like he's as sharp as a tack.
I love it, man. I am so hyped. I haven't been this hyped for a movie for a long time,
Me
man.
too.
You know,
Yeah.
the only movie I'm hyped up about like this is the movie that I'm making. But other than that, I
Which is
mean,
understandable.
I haven't been this hyped up about a movie like coming out like this in a
No.
long
And how like odd is it that just 2 weeks ago we were talking about how all they do is reboot and remake, and is there anything out there
right,
that
right. You were literally going through a list of
yeah.
remakes that nobody even knew. The majority of us didn't even know
Yes.
half of them on the list. The majority of us didn't even know existed.
And
It just
like I
goes
didn't
to
even
show you.
suspect something like this. You know what I mean? Like we all talked about it and we all wanted it, but I think realistically we all figured, well, Rick Moranis is in retirement. He's not coming back, so it's never going to happen. You know, Mel Brooks is going to pass, and that'll be it for it. But that's why, you know, like we've never really done this before. Like, oh, a breaking news kind of thing. Like, well, to me, this was big enough and exciting for me that I was like, I got to talk to at least somebody about this. I can't talk to my wife about this. She's like, what the heck, Spaceballs, you know? But yeah, Stock Jock, you're 100% right. Like Mel Brooks looks, and you would never suspect that he's 98 years old. What is it, Cornercade?
I mean, I'm sitting here right now. I'm just waiting for my mind to be blown.
I'm going to stop sharing that. I'm going to pull this up here. Cornicade. I should put you in timeout for that. I'm kidding. Go watch Spaceballs. My God.
You know what? Wow.
You've missed out on a lot. You've missed out on something great.
There's so many people are it's just, oh my God, this movie.
Yeah. Okay. So here's some of the big stars in the original. Like you said, we know Mel Brooks is coming back. You know, Rick Moranis is coming back. Bill Pullman. How about Daphne Zuniga? Is Princess Vespa? She's got to make some sort of an appearance, right? But if I remember correctly,
if she's still around, I'm assuming
I think she is, but I think she may have something medically going on with her. But maybe I'm way off base with this.
I doubt they would recast, and even if there is something medically wrong with her, if it's not something too bad, they can work it into the story. I mean,
I should have looked into it more, but the thing when you like kind of abruptly go live, like I really didn't have much time to prepare. I mean, she still looks good. There's no denying that. So, yeah, she's still alive. I don't know. I thought I read somewhere that she wasn't doing too well medically, but don't quote me on that one.
Well, they could kind of do a story. They could kind of do the storyline where Lone Star is back on his own again, like what happened to Han Solo in the Force Awakens. It didn't necessarily make sense that Han Solo is all of a sudden going back to smuggling again, but they throw that into the story to show that Han Solo had a broken relationship, just like a lot of people in the modern era. So I don't know. They could do something like that. They could play on that a little bit with Lone Star and Princess Vespa in the Spaceballs sequel if they have to.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, hopefully they find a way to get her in there. I mean, if she's physically able to, she got to be in it, and you got to get Michael Winslow in there. Where's he been for the last 40 some years? He's still alive, right? Yeah. The guy that did all the crazy sound effects all on his own.
It says right here, Daphne Zuniga to return as Princess Vespa in the sequel.
Oh, it does. Awesome.
So
okay.
She's coming back.
That's great. Yeah, you have to have that. Who else did I see? What about Prince Valium at the end of the movie there? Think we'll see him? Do you think it matters that much?
Didn't the guy who played Prince Volume, didn't he die?
Well, we're about to find out. I don't know. According to this, he's still alive.
Oh, okay.
A lot of these, like, who knows what he's been doing all this time either.
Jim J. Bullock. I guess I confused the actors. I thought he was somebody else. But yeah, if he's still around, I mean, hey.
Yeah. The best character in the movie right here, Major Asshole. He's my cousin. It's like, I'm excited, to see this guy again out of nowhere. If they bring him back, bring all these guys back, even if they're in the movie for 5 seconds, like they were the first time around.
Dick Van Patten is another one. If they brought him back, they'd have to use AI, because Dick Van Patten has been dead since 2015. So they'd have to bring.
There you go. You're right.
If they were going to bring him back, it would be like a AI CGI thing.
That was he was King Roland, right?
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. They don't have to bring everybody back. They really don't. Like you don't need.
They
don't need King Roland to be in this one. I mean, it makes sense.
No, you really don't.
It would make sense that King Roland would not be alive 40 years after.
Right, he was old.
It would make sense because he was old then. Like,
right. How about this guy, Colonel Sanders, the guy who played Colonel Sanders? You got to have Colonel Sanders back in the movie. He's still alive, so.
But I expect that he's going to try to get everybody that's still around from the original Spaceballs to make some kind of an appearance, and that there'll be homages to everyone else if they don't outright try to bring them back with CGI and AI. Because honestly, Joan Rivers would probably be another one where it would be easy to have, dot matrix.
Because she was only the voice.
She was only the voice. She was a robot. So essentially, they could, again, if they got permission from her estate, use AI to bring her to use her voice and have her back in the movie. And I'm pretty sure that that's something that they'll probably do.
Well, I mean, technically, Stockchuck, yes, Prince Valium would be a king of wherever the heck he was from. I don't think he was from Druidia, was he? Or maybe he was. I don't remember. But yeah, the only one that it would be kind of sad, it would just the whole John Candy thing. I'm very curious to see what they do with that.
Well, I like your.
Are they going to try it? Or,
I like your idea about like a litter of little barfs
as like a joke or something. Like, Barf went and died on me, but he left his kid here, and he opens the door, and there's 40 puppies, little Barf puppies running around and destroying everything, and he just closes the door of the Winnebago real quick because he's got to still be driving that Winnebago, right?
Well,
that's about as iconic as the Millennium Falcon.
His Winnebago has got some upgrades and modifications, just like how the Millennium Falcon got upgrades.
Yeah.
Quote unquote modifications for the Force Awakens.
Well, yeah. So maybe they'll do that as a joke to that. Or like have the backstory for everything in the Winnebago.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Stock Jock. That Joan's daughter sounds quite a bit like her, so maybe they'll cast.
Actually, I don't know why I never thought of that.
Maybe they'll cast the daughter to do the voice, and then they won't have to use AI.
And I feel like she would probably do that to pay tribute to her mother.
To her mother, maybe, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
and because Dot Matrix is a robot, her sounding a little different is okay. It doesn't have to be.
It makes sense, right? No, I think if they can't use John Candy's likeness to kind of like tastefully bring him into the movie a little bit, I don't want to see him. You don't recast him. Don't bring like Kevin James or somebody in to play but you know what I mean? Like that, I'd rather just not see him at all than them trying to put another actor in his place.
Right. This is one of those cases where I would actually rather them use CGI and AI
Yeah,
just because it has been so long, and you just don't want that dissonance between the two characters because he was
right.
such a big part of the original Spaceballs.
I mean, I thought they did Star Wars, for all their flaws, I thought they did a pretty good job in Rogue One with Peter Cushing. What do you think about that one?
Oh God, it could be done even better now.
Oh yeah, but that's kind of what I was going to get at. Like,
that's
they
what I
did
mean.
it. They did it pretty well then.
Rogue One was mid-tier compared to what they could do now.
Oh yeah, I mean, even bringing Luke Skywalker back, 2 years ago on The Mandalorian, I've seen like deep fakes and improvements that people have done on that. How much better it looks even then.
The reason that wasn't perfect when Disney did it, because Disney deep faked Luke Skywalker a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why it wasn't perfect is because Disney, cheapened out and didn't use the right stuff and didn't use the right team and kind of did a rush job on it. They didn't use the right material, but now you could really do it up. If they wanted to make it look like Luke Skywalker straight out of Return of the Jedi, they could. There's no reason why it can't be done. And right now with Spaceballs, yeah, you could really do it up. So I really do expect John's character to be
at some point. Yeah, I don't think he'll be a full-on steady character throughout the entire movie. But
like I said, you might see him. You might see him in it. You might see him in a. I'm expecting that you see him. I think your litter idea is one that might come to pass, and then of course too, you might see him in like a dream sequence.
Yeah,
like it'll be Lone Star having a dream, and and that's how you'll get him in there. Yep. But I don't think he'll be there for the whole movie. That's
or what about like what they did in Rogue One? Wonder if there's some unused footage from the original Spaceballs, because there was some scenes when they shot the Battle of Yavin. They pulled a lot of those old Rebel pilot. A lot of those scenes didn't make the cut, but they inserted them into Rogue One. Wonder if there's any unused footage of John Candy in the role of Barf in the movie. You know what I mean? Something like that they could use like you were saying.
That they could alter and maybe make it work.
Yeah, I think that's how they brought Carrie Fisher back in Rise of Skywalker, because she had already died before the movie started.
Oh yeah, they used outtakes from Force Awakens.
Like Force Awakens stuff. I mean, so it's definitely possible. But like Stock Truck even said, dogs don't live that long, so they could just go down that road too. Like, well, yeah. Although we don't know what the life expectancies of Mogs are, probably somewhere halfway in between people and dogs. But even still, 40 years would be a long time.
Right.
But that's I don't know, man. That was big, exciting news for me for the day. And so, like I said, how ironic that we were just talking about this very subject, and Spaceballs didn't even get brought up one bit. Like, we didn't even talk about Spaceballs as even the potential, or even though it's been kind of rumored for how long,
it's been rumored since the movie was a thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, PD7's he's walking Mr. West. No, this was a very, very abrupt, spur of the moment thing, and I wasn't expecting anybody, to be able to make it on a weeknight like this. And Zod, I'm happy you were able to make it, because it's a lot more fun talking to somebody,
Oh, I agree, man.
In person, in person.
Especially a topic like this. This is a movie that's near and dear to our hearts, and I couldn't be happier to get this news. This was incredible stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan. I mean, look at this. I bought I don't remember if I even showed this ever, but it's an NES cartridge. It's obviously not a real game, but somebody made it into Spaceballs, the video game. And not only that, you have Super Spaceballs, the video game for Super Nintendo. And I think this is like John Elway's Quarterbacks Club or something like that. It's an actual game inside of it, but it's not Spaceballs. So I guess that leads me to this. Are we actually going to see some official licensed merchandise now? Because we know he couldn't do it. That was his agreement with George Lucas on the original. Do the movie, whatever, but you cannot merchandise anything because I don't want it to compete with my movie. I mean, are we going to see some Spaceballs merchandise now?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's possible. Is that agreement still? I wonder how long that was signed for. Did that go away when George Lucas sold Star Wars?
I think the reason why that was the agreement was because he basically told him, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like he told Mel Brooks you could basically whatever. Like he didn't care. Yeah, as long as there was no merchandise, he didn't care. Because for Lucas, that's what it was about, man. It was about action figures and merchandise.
Yeah, and video games and all that stuff.
That's why they spoofed it so hard in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole scene was literally because I think we looked at it. There was like a Transformers lunchbox and something with the Spaceballs name slapped on it, and so I hope that this time around maybe we will actually get to see some. I mean, I have a Spaceballs shirt and Spaceballs hoodie, but that's all aftermarket stuff. You know what I mean? None of that's officially licensed.
And KFB, may the Schwartz be with you. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Bro, this is going to be
July 2027. Can't get here. Now I got to wait a whole year for GTA 6 and then another year after that for Spaceballs. So I got to keep my health together for at least 2 more years because I can't go. I can't leave without getting to see Spaceballs 2.
All I know is if I die the day the day that movie comes out, if I die the day Spaceballs comes out, I'd rather people go to see that movie than go to my funeral. That's how excited I am about this movie.
We'll do a drive-by on your funeral. There it is. Give me beep, beep, beep. All right, gotta go.
Beep, beep, beep. Gotta go watch Spaceballs for real, guys. I mean, this movie, this is gonna be huge.
That's what I'm afraid of, console fanboy. I gotta stay alive for 2 more years now. 2027, huh? Well,
not too long to go.
No, 2 years.
That's fine.
And fingers crossed. If Brooks hangs in there.
If you talk to certain people, it's we're gonna be pretty close to being immortal by then anyway. So,
hey, then we'll see Spaceballs 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's crazy to think that Mel Brooks will be 100 years old whenever this thing comes out.
That makes it all the more fitting, though. It makes it.
Oh yeah,
it's so
40th anniversary of the movie, 100 years old, 100-year birthday. I wonder when his birthday is. Don't tell me he's gonna. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Same year as the Switch OLED too. Switch 2 OLED.
Yeah.
MetaQuest 4, PS6. Wow.
Does it say? Oh, look at that. His birthday is June 28th. Oh, what have I done?
Okay, cool.
So he'll be 99 and 7/8 whenever this movie, if it stays on schedule of July.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll have just turned 100 years. No, yeah. What am I talking about? He'll have just turned 100 years old when this movie is released in theaters.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. Snow White didn't do squat. I think that movie's on Disney Plus already.
No way. Is it really? Snow White? Oh, geez. Well, I mean, the amount of bombs that they've been dropping. Yeah, with all their am I frozen? Okay, good. But yeah, with all their live action remakes and their Star Wars movies that are not doing well. And
yeah, I'm on Disney Plus right now, and sure enough, the live action Snow White is on Disney Plus right now.
Wow.
I mean,
it says a lot.
That's sad. That's actually kind of sad, isn't it? I mean, wasn't it just in
Yep.
theaters like 2 weeks ago?
It seems like it. Yeah. Yeah, that makes me this makes me want to watch Spaceballs again. Like I don't think this is going to be ruined like Christmas Story 2 or any of those other dumb sequels that came out, 30 some years later.
I will say this: if Mel Brooks dies before they can finish this movie, then I want them to stop. I only want the movie to come out. I only want Spaceballs 2 to come out if Mel Brooks is alive.
He better be.
I'm sorry, because the problem is that's what happens when you lose the person, with the vision. You lose the person in charge, and then somebody else comes in and takes it over. Stuff always gets tainted. So,
right.
So for me, it's gotta be Mel Brooks. Even if Mel Brooks himself isn't directing the movie, Mel Brooks has to be alive and has to be there.
He deserves it.
Has to be controlling it creatively. That's the only way it's gonna work.
Yep. And Console Fanboy, I said the exact same thing, and I don't know if you saw anything about it, but yes, Rick Moranis is definitely 100% going to be in this movie.
Oh,
yeah, I said the same thing. Like, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't feel the same at all. I wouldn't enjoy it if Dark Helmet, Rick Moranis wasn't there. And yep, he is 100% confirmed to be in this thing, coming out of retirement.
Yep.
I mean, we saw Rick Moranis where he was in a few T-Mobile commercials or something with Ryan Reynolds like 2 years ago or something. Do you remember those?
Yep.
Like he made, yeah. And then didn't he like made the news because didn't some dude punch him in the face or something in New York City? Like just run up to him, sucker punch him, and then run away.
I don't know, but that sounds pretty.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like he started doing these commercials, and you're like, oh my god, like Rick Moranis, maybe he's gonna make a comeback. And then 2 weeks later, he gets sucker punched and has this big black eye, like gets assaulted on the streets in New York City. And I'm like, oh my god, the guy finally shows his face after 30 years, and the first thing that happens is somebody hits him.
Well, maybe that's the reason why, one of the reasons why he quit. Like maybe he knew there were some people out there that wanted to sucker punch him, and
maybe. Well, I mean, he did, the very honorable thing.
That's why he does. That's why Rick Moranis does videos with Rexer now, because he's in a position where he can be there, and
I can't unsee that.
They can talk all the crap they want. Steve Guttenberg and Rick Moranis together, they can talk all the crap they want about home arcade stuff, but they're not out in public getting punched in the face. So, yeah. That would be so funny to find out that Rick Moranis was pretending to be Kev Gret this whole time.
He stayed flew under the radar. Just started getting into some home arcade stuff.
Right. Because everybody has to have a hobby, right?
Yeah. I mean, Rick Moranis got out of acting because, we all know the story. His wife passed away. His kids were really young. He got out of acting to raise his kids. Well, his kids have been grown for, quite some time now. So who knows what Rick Moranis, maybe he's been getting into the home arcade. No, but that's, all joking aside, that's huge news for me that I was literally more excited when I found out he was going to be in it, because I just didn't think I don't think it would have worked without him.
Yeah.
It's already going to kind of stink that John Candy's not going to be in it, like I said, but we'll see how that plays out. I give Mel Brooks the benefit of the doubt.
If they don't bring him back in some way, like I said, through CGI or AI, if they don't do that, I expect that there will be some sort of a fitting tribute to him in the movie in some way. So there's that.
What is this, Gamer Fridge? This is Nostalgia Power breaking news. I mean, this is the first time we've ever done something like this, so it had to be a big deal.
Right.
He didn't shrink himself. Hey, what? That opens the door for I thought I did see it, that there was possibly in the works another Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I mean, and if not, if I'm just making that up, then Then I guess the door is open now for it, though. If Rick Moranis is back. Hey, what's up, Blair? Oh yeah, we went over. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. I think that'll be a good one too. The new Naked Gun.
Sure.
Seems like it, anyways. So this is we talked a lot of smack on all the reboots and the remakes and everything a few weeks ago, but this one here, it feels different right out the gate. I mean, it even feels different than Happy Gilmore. I think Happy Gilmore, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be funny. It'll be Adam Sandler funny. But this one here feels like it's been a long time coming for this.
Absolutely.
And with Mel Brooks being 98 years old, now or never, right? You're kind of approaching that territory. And like we said, he seems like he's as sharp and as witty as ever. And because of that, you got to have some fairly high expectations.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Zod, do you know anything about like when the filming is like what stage of this whole process are they even?
I'm not sure. I feel like he kind of, because you can go back and look at the first trailer that he did for the original Spaceballs, and it was very similar to this.
Oh yeah. I think I played that on one of our streams
when
we came back.
It was very similar to the one we just showed.
Yeah, he was just him sitting there talking and
40 years later.
Yeah. And as the credits were rolling on this, where is it at? Let me pull it up again, because it was actually really funny to read everything that he had in that.
Right. Yeah, he covered
in that crawl. Here's a little bit better of a. There's only one Star Wars trilogy. Yep. But since then, there have been. Yeah, prequel trilogy, sequel trilogy, a sequel to the prequels, a prequel to the sequel, TV spinoffs. I mean, there's been so much, and then you make it to the end. There's only been one Spaceballs, and I was waiting for it. I'm like, oh no, and it says until now. That's when the goosebumps hit in. That's when it really hit me hard. I'm like, yep, here we go. Look, and he's wearing Spaceballs the sweatshirt. I didn't even pick that out last time. I'm going to look online right now, see what kind of Spaceballs merchandise. Maybe they have them up for sale already. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like you said, Zod, you said earlier about Mel Brooks being one of those types that would allow himself to be put into AI, put into a computer or anything. Yeah, I totally think he probably already has it written contractually. If I die before this is over, make me the best you can and put me in it.
Oh yeah, especially as yogurt. Are you kidding me? It's gonna be incredible.
It's funny. I think I read somewhere too that in the original, when he did yogurt, all that gold makeup that had on me, he broke out into some like crazy rash because of that. So this time around, I'm sure they're going to use something different. Oh yeah, we need more Dark Helmet. That's the news of the day for me.
It's just going to be so wonderful when it finally happens. Because like I say, it's going to be good. We know it's going to be great. We know it's going to live up to the hype. It's going to be it's going to be just as good as the original. It's going to be right on par, because he wouldn't do it if he didn't have something to say.
Exactly. And that he knows that the fans have been waiting for it for so long.
I love what he said at the end. The fans want us to do and
we know what they want, but instead we're giving them this movie. Like that's typical Mel Brooks, just sarcastic.
I mean,
humor.
In my heart of hearts, I hope it's called Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money. I just hope it is, just for the sheer
Yes. there's probably a lot of those classic scenes that I could see them trying again. And yeah, the scene where they see themselves on TV. When is now? When is now? Now? Oh, you just missed it.
You just missed it.
Yes. That, and like I said, you got to bring Michael Winslow back doing the beep, 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 the sound effects. And
oh my God, yes. It's going to be
I said, even if it's for one stupid scene, get him back. Michael Winslow probably, like I said, what's he been doing for the last, since the 80s, you know?
Oh, console fanboy, that's brilliant. That would be so funny.
Yeah.
That would be so funny because like then it's like you're really, because you know it's gonna do that. It's gonna tap all into that social media,
everybody doing TikTok video, dance videos, like stupid stuff like that. It's gonna
be social media, crazy consumerism. It's gonna be all that stuff. Yeah, they're gonna modernize it. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be fantastic. You know it's going to be good because he wouldn't be doing it if he didn't have something to say. Like and yeah.
Like I said, I wonder how many times he actually wrote the script for the second Spaceballs movie.
Oh, there's probably a lot of them over the years.
Like he's probably been He's probably wrote multiple scripts over the years, and it just never happened. So he probably has tons of ideas to pull from that he already wanted to include. And just given the state of how everything's been for the last 20 years or so, I mean, there's so much more that he could spoof off of.
That's brilliant, Thumper Squid. Dark Helmet standing in line for a Switch 2. I mean, honestly, like you could.
Or what if he comes back?
Crazy stuff. Like if they do like a Star Trek for the Voyage Home kind of thing, where they go back in time to like 2025, and they're like. I mean, I don't know. It'd be fantastic.
What if he comes back like Kylo Ren or something like that? Like he's just like this moody, walks around without his shirt on, is just like has his mask, a totally different mask, and then it just ends up getting destroyed, and then he breaks back into the original Dark Helmet.
I don't know. They're going to do something. They're going to do something, and it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Yes.
Yeah, it'll be fun to speculate. Well, I'm going to keep my eye on this story for sure. See what develops here. Like Console Fanboy was asking, do we know when filming or anything's going to start? I'm definitely going to be keeping tabs on this. So it'll probably pop up in an episode of Nostalgia Power on Saturday morning from time to time. If any new news or any updates happen on this movie,
truly,
we're definitely going to talk about it.
Yeah,
because I'd like to get Jester Testers and Phil the PD7's opinion on this too. So,
oh yeah, it's going to be wonderful. So
next Nostalgia Power, which was supposed to be a week from this Saturday, but I got to push it back one more week because my son's birthday is that weekend, and we're going to be away for the whole weekend. So I'm going to push it one more week, and who knows? Maybe by that time we might find out a little bit more about this.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. I know. I may turn it on tonight too because it's always a good watch, man. It's one of those movies where I've watched countless times over the years, and if you're flipping through the channels and you see it on, it always ends up stopping right there for me. I mean, eventually it may be on Netflix, but it did say only in theaters. That was part of the.
But that's what it said at the end of the first Spaceballs trailer that he did too. Only in theaters, which, I mean, I just love the mirroring. That's what's making me think it's gonna be Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money. That'd be so great.
Yeah.
God.
So, is it going to be only in theaters? I mean, or was he paying homage to himself back in the day? Who knows? You know, I can see him going, no, it's only going to be in theaters.
I think it is going to only be in theaters.
Yeah.
For
at least for its initial release. And then after that, I'm sure it'll be on every...
I think it'll be huge.
Yes. I, without a doubt, will be going to see it. I don't see too many movies in theaters these days anymore. And that's definitely, without a doubt, I'll be seeing it. Yeah, there may be some of that. Some Spaceballs live watch parties tonight. Yeah, Johnny, he's 98 years old. He's still kicking it. He'll be 99, right? We saw that his birthday was the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
28th of June. So he'll be 99 in a few weeks. He'll be turning 100 right around the time where this Spaceballs comes out in July of 2027. Well, Zod, I think that's about all I got for this. I mean, unless you have anything or any final thoughts.
I think we've done a pretty good job, breaking this down from what we know so far.
Yep, which is not a whole lot, because even when you sent me the clip earlier, and I started looking things up, things had only started to break. It was maybe like 2 hours before that.
Oh yeah, so. Mel Brooks broke the news himself on Twitter X, and then that's when the articles started popping up. So it was all coordinated.
Oh yeah, Johnny, there is a new Naked Gun movie coming out. Seth MacFarlane is directing the movie.
And Liam Neeson is
Liam Neeson. That's right. I was drawing a blank.
Taking over the main role.
Yeah, the Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, he'll be the new Leslie Nielsen. And if you haven't seen it, Johnny, look up the trailer. I think you'll think it's funny.
Yeah, the trailer's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have high hopes for that one as well. And actually, I'm gonna have to look in that. I'm curious. I can't remember when that was scheduled to be released. If that was this summer or not. Hopefully, give us that one this summer. We need something to tide us over until 2027. 2 years. Oh, that's a little bit rough, but
better than
you can't watch Liam in a dress. Oh, that scene was so funny. Oh, come on. Where he was like the little Girl Scout or something like that. But anyways, yeah, thanks everybody for stopping by. I just wanted to do this because I thought it was worth it. It warranted this announcement warranted a live stream and something to talk about anyways, right? I mean, it's Spaceballs. Come on.
Absolutely.
And Zod, again, as always, thank you for hopping on here tonight. And everybody, Nostalgia Power will be back in its official time slot, the 28th. Not this Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now. Unless something crazy happens. That's another reason why I thought, pushing Nostalgia Power back a week. I'm like, hey, maybe we'll do something in the meantime. But yeah, if there's any big crazy news that we want to talk about, we may do these little pop-up streams once in a while if people are down for it.
Yeah.
But Zod, again, thank you as always, and thanks everybody in the chat. We will see you guys next time. So take care, everybody. Good night.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.